Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to DiRT Showdown. So, in round 2 of 3 of this race, I got wrecked and I just can't handle this newest vehicle. It's got no handling or traction for this Michigan race. So, I'm gonna, I don't know why that even is the case, honestly, but I'm gonna switch to this and see if I can just upgrade this and then upgrade this. The buttons actually change because you hit X to upgrade and then you hit A to purchase any second upgrades. So we'll start this race again. We can't go anywhere or do anything until we finish this race, or I suppose I could try and go do the Smash Hunter race. Can I skip this entirely if I did Smash Hunter? Just go with it. Just go with it. Losing traction and spinning out is definitely true. But hitting the edges, you really have to stay in the middle of this race. There's things everywhere. I'm gonna back up into this guy so he can't pass me. Of course, if my health goes down to 0 again, I get wrecked, and then you can't continue anyways. That's certainly something that wasn't in DiRT 3. Not that I ever saw, where you could damage the car, or it was where it was likely that you would damage the car to a point where you couldn't continue.
Go, baby, go.
Let's see. And as soon as I crash, the rubber banding has everybody in front of me crash. I don't know if it's worth mentioning or not, but leaning forward and playing this with a controller has somehow managed to throw out my shoulder really badly, so I'm playing under injured status now, and this is something that certainly has never happened to me before. I don't think any of that really can be blamed on this game, however, as much as it's probably just a case of unluckiness and old age in my part. But hopefully it doesn't become some kind of permanent injury. That would certainly be awful. Why it would hurt my shoulder at all, I don't know. I think I was just at an awkward angle. Alright, we're on lap 4. I ended up in the water. We're on 6th place. I'm trying as best as I can. This car is slightly more controllable. I don't know why that is the case, but it seems to be the case. Every time I hit that curve, I think I'm supposed to go forward. Come on. Give me a burst. Let me burst my way at the last second into first. We're drifting without using the brake at all.
Decided. Another one at the finish.
Alright, third is better than what we had last time. So that allows us to move forward. Sadly, there is a decent chance that this is just going to take 30 minutes. Because I could imagine this round or the next round taking 2 or 3 attempts.
Go!
And this is really now.
And they are struggling to keep control.
Let's just restart. Why not? Save ourselves some time.
Go!
Try to get as much of a full burst to begin with. And then let our boost build up. That wasn't too bad. The wet ground, don't hit these barriers. Those barriers are way worse than hitting anything else. Like, you can smash through all the red tires in the middle you want, and it barely even affects, if it affects at all. But hitting one barrier gets it right under your tires at least 50% of the time and sends you off track. Alright, this is good. This race seems a little shorter. It's hard to see between the rain and the dusk. I'm in 6th position, and it's not like I'm really doing anything awful to deserve that. This is the problem of playing on casual up to this point, and casual being very generous. As soon as that generosity disappeared and the game wanted to actually give me some challenge, I feel like, oh no, I can't handle it. I'm not prepared. You haven't been training me as the player to actually play this game.
A new leader is now pushing the pace out there.
Now, with nobody ahead of me, I can more focus on the road. So just don't hit walls. Don't slow down too much. You can see somebody is right behind me with that arrow indicator, which is all you really get. This is lap 3 of 4, and we've been going 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so it is probably going to be slightly less than 5 minutes to do this race.
Spinning out as they fail to hold on.
And immediately you drop down to 6th place. This race is way too tight. And the announcer said something about Little Buddy. I don't even know what he said. I couldn't barely hear it or pay attention to it. But that's something I haven't heard him say before. But it is also probably the first time I've ever spun out and lost first place. So that would probably explain it. We're back on track to get at least 2nd. Soon.
We've got a new driver heading up the path.
There we go, 1st place.
That's the win. Awesome driving.
So we got, I think, 3rd place and 1st place, which should put us probably in 1st place by 2 points right now. So probably even if you got like 4th place, you would still win in this 3rd race off. This completely unnecessary extra third race off. Like, why not have 3 race-offs in 3 different locations? I guess maybe that would be a bad way, since there's no practice mode. If somebody wanted to do Michigan and then it went Michigan, LA, and Miami, people wouldn't be very happy about having to do the other races. And theoretically, there's only 2 different ways you can go around the track, so maybe there's something slightly different about this path.
That's it. They passed them.
But I do remember in Dirt 3, Michigan was a very big open area that was split into, I would imagine, 30 to 40 different racetracks where one curve was removed and changed into another curve. Minor changes that wouldn't matter at all in a game like this.
The lead is now in the hands of a new driver.
That guy felt like he was intentionally trying to hit me.
Control. We've got a driver spun out.
And as soon as you spin out, why do these car doors break like that? I guess it's probably because I'm hitting the framework, damaging. And it's a visual way of indicating you have sidewall damage on your car.
Slamming into the trunk.
I don't know where I'm particularly supposed to go, so I don't want to boost too badly, too much. Again, a lot of flashing lights, a lot of rain, a lot of confusion because I'm not certain where I'm going, what curve I'm taking, and a lot of other cars in front of me.
On to the last lap.
Well, on to the last lap, and it's only been 2 minutes. So this is actually a really short track.
Sweet overtake.
So I want to just not spin out and try to get in third or second or first, or just try to place.
And they take the win.
There you
They
go.
made it over the line.
Second almost guarantees me first place. If it doesn't, it doesn't even matter, because at the very least I'm going to get third place. No, I got first. I tied, and tying for first seems good enough. We now have 5 more races to go in this game. And it's a little exhausting doing all this, so I'm not really sure I'm going to want to spend much time. There's a Lombardi, so I guess that is kind of a fancy car to drive. But those are racing cars. I was thinking this game would be nice if you're driving fancy convertibles and limos and things that you don't typically race. Got another rampage. When it comes to rampaging, you need strength and power and not handling. I think so. And this is San Francisco. They've really wasted San Francisco as a location. I don't think I've seen a single track in it. And this is just designed to look like a wrestling ring. The 4 posts in the middle kind of makes some sense. Like, why isn't there a race on the Golden Gate Bridge? Yeah, answer that question. Why aren't we going up some of the windy, curvy roads that I think that's LA actually, but I'm sure you could make some kind of racetrack in San Francisco. Otherwise, don't use it as a location. I mean, there's a pretty major disconnect because we have a location called Yokohama that looks like a shipping docks, and I've never heard of Yokohama. This isn't Tokyo or Kyoto or one of the big cities in Japan. And then we have San Francisco and LA. And that doesn't make sense at all.
It's like watching two cars drive into each other. Oh wait, they are.
Darn it. Let's not kill ourselves. I probably should kill myself, actually. Just in... do it now. Let somebody hit me. So, like... just slow down, hit me.
I'm not sure if that door is even gonna open anymore.
I guess you can't do it. But I want to break my car and get it reset to full health before we're in the double points.
Right between the eyes.
I'm rather far ahead of other players, which seems strange.
T-bone. All right, it's double points time.
Double
people.
points time. I am 5,000 points ahead of anybody else. So,
Come on, do something.
even the game is bored with my performance here.
Slam. Epic win. They have got some skill.
Now, was that round 1 of 3 or was that round 1 of 2? Just 1 of 2. Okay. That should be doable. Nice little breather after the last race in Michigan. Michigan makes a lot of sense. It's the entire state of Michigan, though, that they're claiming. Like, clearly, Codemasters is not from the United States because most people in the United States know the difference between the city of San Francisco and the entire state of Michigan.
Precision driving and a precision strike. Yes. What a slam.
They really do have some work to do, and maybe in Dirt 4 they fix that. I'll probably end up buying Dirt 4 when it's cheap. It's not particularly my favorite style of gameplay, so I wouldn't buy it maximum immediately, or wait to make sure that all the DLC and any microtransaction or any garbage like that is no longer cared about, so there's like a complete edition versus season pass editions and all of that ridiculousness they put in games now. Video game industry trying really hard to destroy the video game industry because in the name of profit now,
Slamming into that rear. Shot. That's what you get for being slow.
yeah, but no race in San Francisco at all. That is a bad decision. Let's see, what are some other places I would want to see? How about right alongside the Panama Canal? How about in Rome, where you can see the Colosseum and some of the other statue places? Get some of that map data they used in Assassin's Creed for that and put some roads around there. The Nevada desert, the Nevada salt flats, is a popular place to race. And flat land all around you. It's a pretty, would be rather easy to design too. The Sahara Dunes, Sahara Desert would be cool. A place that's very oceanside like. What would be a good oceanside place? Well, for San Francisco in particular, you could drive right along the beach and see the beaches and the ocean. I think you could still easily make a fictional racetrack on the ocean for whatever that would be worth. You could have like whales jumping up and all kinds of crazy things. You could certainly go up into Alaska or any place really snowy. The Nürburgring is, of course, something to consider. Nuremberg, or however you pronounce that. And so here we have Tokyo race off again. 4 laps, and then 8 laps. And I don't have quite enough money for this. So I'm gonna pick this car again. And hope it's good enough. It should be good enough. There's an obsession here with there being a Yokohama and a Tokyo. And yet they took out all of the African racetracks that were in Dirt 3. Where you're going up mountains. Yeah, we've seen no mountain or perilous paths where you can fall off the edge. I imagine the perilous paths that were in Dirt 3 make a lot less sense in a game like this, where you knock the opponent off. However, compare that to Mario Kart Star Road. Like, that's specifically a racetrack designed so players can knock off the other players. And not being memorized, not having memorized the layout of Tokyo, who's to say this looks anything like it? It really is just a bunch of buildings and Japanese letters and signs that say Tokyo. Could be anything. Could be completely made up. And it's a little too slow to reset your vehicle. And I guess resetting your vehicle is the same as flashing back. I guess we could see if maybe this bump. Oops. No, that just pauses it and goes into... Like, there is flashback mode when you're doing tricks, but no flashback mode when you're racing. For really no reason. I guess they didn't want to make the game too easy on the harder difficulties, but then you could have given it to casual players and then disabled it for people playing on advanced, or limited it on intermediate. My car is getting lighter as I drive, so I should be doing better. getting lighter, of course, because I'm breaking it.
That move puts them in the lead.
And that move loses the lead for me. The roads are wet, but not raining, which of the two I'd prefer wet roads where I can see, because it's the visuals that are a problem, more than the actual traction. If I have a decent car with handling it on easy mode, at least it's good enough to stay on the path. I'm having to back off pure acceleration, but I'm not trying any drifting maneuvers or anything like that. I suppose if any of the companies licensed the Fast and the Furious movie series, they probably would sell a little bit better. And Vin Diesel is, last I heard, a fan of video games, so he probably would be up for it, whatever control he has. He doesn't own the Fast and the Furious series, but he's in it, so he might be able to influence them. I know there have been some games out there, but they probably were cheap imitations of the bigger race games, and that's, I imagine, why I don't see anybody really talking about any of them. A recognizable name with a good testimony behind it is kind of two of the best things you could have for your game. So if you can make a good game and then put a recognizable name behind it, that's great. Sadly, more often than not, you get things like the Friday the 13th game where it has that recognizable name, but it doesn't really play that well as a game, so there's not people out there singing the praises of the Friday the 13th game. It's fine. It's kind of odd because it doesn't really have a good gameplay mechanic in it. But if they instead had just made a single player story game in a horror genre and put Friday the 13th on it, and it told a good story, I imagine more people would be singing its praises. So, playing DiRT Showdown here, if this was called Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift or whatever, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is really good. This is totally worth playing. I would even be willing to put up with perhaps some bad voice acting or character tie-ins. And maybe some silly cutscenes. I guess maybe Codemasters thinks they don't need it, but I think I would argue that they do. I think Codemasters needs somebody who's a little bit better business-minded running their company. Taking your games off for sale seems like something you would do if you were Coca-Cola to sell new Coke, or something you would do in a restaurant because you're trying to sell the special. But in the video game industry, you don't take anything off the menu if you can avoid it. And if they have to take these games off for sale because they lost the licenses, then that shows a lack of future thought and forethought in their license negotiation. Yeah, you definitely don't make a numbered series just to then only have the highest number possible available for purchase. Particularly in the world of Steam, where the old versions of your games can go on sale and get you more people interested in the new versions of your game. All the time we see old versions of games going on sale a week or a month before the new sequel comes out. And let's just keep going. We're on lap 3 of 4. We're going to go a little long in this recording, but it would be insane to pause the game right now and end the recording. That would be bad for me as the player and bad for you as the viewer. That's one of those lose-lose situations. Speaking of lose-lose situations. Boost. Driving against the wall. I'm surprised that worked. The physics engine is kind of amazing in this. Stop it. Come on. One more lap. I'm in second place. Second place is an acceptable place to end in. I suppose this does allow for a style of gameplay that I appreciate a little bit more. A lot of racing games insist on first. DiRT 3 kind of insisted on you getting first place in most of the places, most of the races. Here you just kind of need to get third. Sure, if you want an achievement, you're gonna have to get first in everything, which since it's not as bad as DiRT 3, but there are different races that require different styles of skills. Somebody might be really good at racing and terrible at demolition derby, damaging other cars, or they might be good at those two things and terrible at doing spins and donuts, and you really have to be a master of everything. So the funny thing here is the first two races are 4 laps, I believe. The last lap race is 8 laps. So it's going to be twice as long to do the final part of this race. Fortunately, I think even if I got 8th place, I probably would still end up in 3rd. So we're in a good position. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.